beginning. Maybe you want to smooth your hair down as well.
Is that better?
Maybe just kind of... Look at me. No.
Jesus Christ. My hair does its own thing, alright? Let it be. Oh, this is good.
Okay, go on.
My favourite thing about Christos is that he's loyal and stalwart and he stands by his friends, but more than that, he really listens to his friends and even people that he doesn't know necessarily that well. When I first got to know Christos, he was there for me when people who I thought at the time were better friends, who I'd known for many, many, many years, and they weren't there for me in the way that Christos was. He's an incredibly kind and caring and supportive and loyal person, which is like a bunch of different answers rolled into one, but I never was going to give you a direct answer anyway. So there you go.
And then the happy birthday.
And the worst thing about Christos is, is that he just doesn't touch me in the way that I want him to anymore. He used to look at me in such a different way. I've always loved you.
Christos Reed is simply incredible.
I'm over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Christos Reed is simply incredible. For a man so utterly intent on driving everyone around him to madness through some terrible combination of puns and jokes, I've still not known anyone to love as unconditionally as Christos Reed does. Christos has put together a community in London which is made of what is traditionally the least sociable niche of geekdom in what is probably the least friendliest city in all of Britain, in probably Europe. And I think that that is testament to the sort of person that Christos is. Without Christos, I wouldn't know anyone in this city, and I quite like all the people that I know in this city, but none of them really as much as Christos. He's definitely helped me out more times than I can ever repay him for, and I know that he's helped out far more people than me, far more than he's helped me. I think that that's really Christos Reed. He really helps people.
Favourite thing about Christos is definitely probably like how measured he is as a person, how he feels quite sensible and grounded to me, and particularly because he's a guy who works in games, as lots of us do in our friend circle, and people who work in games are sometimes a bit excited and a bit, I don't want to dig myself into a hole here. There's an amount of overexcitement sometimes around games, and people who are not always able to take a step back and take a breath and take a broader look at things or be more reasonable. But Christos is that person. He's a guy who's actually, in all the time I've known him, always been very kind of reasonable and sensible. And it's best summed up in a tweet that he, I don't know, sent out 6 months ago. And he probably, I don't know if he remembers writing the tweet or even if it was that big a deal for him to write the tweet, but for me it sums up Christos really well. And the tweet, I'm paraphrasing, but it's him saying something like, no one sets out to be an arse or to be nasty, or I think most people are actually trying not to do that at all. It's just you're in a situation or you're in a circumstance or something happens and you react or you do a thing because you feel that that is the right thing to do. And I think that might be true. And it was a tweet that was written in such a kind of a reasonable kind of way of, guys, relaxed guys. Not everyone is good guys, bad guys. It's probably shades of grey, and we're all probably trying to do good things a lot of the time. And it's that kind of best faith kind of philosophy that is, I don't know, it's something that I think actually really is what Christos is like. And so that's the thing I like about him most, that kind of measured, grounded reasonableness to him that not everybody has. And he's also, I feel patronising saying this, but he's also quite young compared to some people. And it's great for someone quite young in games to be sort of reasonable and measured and sensible and not hysterical like some of his peers are. Very easy thing to like about him.
I think my favourite thing about Christos is that he's a good friend, and I don't mean that in the kind of, oh, he's a good friend way, like he's actually a genuinely good person, to the point where he makes me feel like I actually want to be better because he's just a really nice chap. Like he's the kind of guy that suggested coming to Gatwick Airport to meet me after my holiday at about 6 o'clock in the morning, which is totally ridiculous, but it was nice that he asked anyway. Yeah, I think this is going to sound really kind of schmaltzy and melodramatic, but like he genuinely makes me feel like I should be a better person. He's a nice standard of friend to put yourself against. That, and he does pixel art for free for my magazine. I think the worst thing about Christos is the cold dead stare that he gives me whenever I talk about Super Smash Brothers. That's probably the worst thing.
My favourite thing about Christos is how much he's changed and grown as a person. I've known him for almost 8 years, good God, and he's so strong and kind and loyal that I can only hope to handle things in my life with as much grace as he handles the things in his. And he, like, not to steal Alan's, but I look up to him too, and it's difficult to not compare yourself to him because he's such a great guy. The worst thing about Christos is that he named an effect after me, and it's basically where, if I think someone's an arsehole, I'll go and tell them, and I'll tell them how many ways they are an arsehole. And Joe will never stop teasing me about it.
My favourite thing about Christos is probably how he can't help but help other people. It's a really, it's almost as if that's his instinct to help people who need it. And I know that he's helped me many times. He's helped nearly all of our friend circle in some way, and it's just, you know, you can't not like a person who's so willing to give himself to other people in order to make them feel welcome and loved. Okay. So, what is your favourite thing about Christos?
Christos Reed. I've never met the man. I am going to refuse to admit that I've met him. Christos Reed. Doesn't ring a bell. Is he someone I know? Okay, my favourite thing about Christos Reed, whoever he is I guess the colour of his skin. It's nice. It looks good from the pictures you've shown me. His head is a nice shape. Other than that, I can't really say much more without actually having met him in person. But, I mean, why would I need to?
Okay.
How did I meet Christos Reed? No one meets Christos Reed. He just leeches off their life, and until really they kind of give up all hope of ever being free from him. He is, you know Tutankhamun, right? You know, Howard Carter opened the tomb, and then you know there was this ailment that struck down everything. The curse of Tutankhamun. Christos is like the curse of Tutankhamun, except we don't get the release of death. One thing that I think that Christos does very well is order takeaway. No one physically possible can order the sheer volume of food he can and consume as little of it, percentage-wise, as he does. I mean, it would take some work to be as inefficient a takeaway ordering machine as Christos Reed is. And it's incredibly impressive in a kind of, I would say, a broadly speaking kind of Russian 1980s inefficiency way. It's all very Brezhnev, and I'm using Brezhnev as a compliment here. It's not really used as a compliment often. What are the things that I think Christos can improve on? Wow, where to start? I like his head, but it could be rounder. He can't see in the dark that well. I don't know if he can drive an HGV, but that is an essential for anyone in financial services, marketing / game development. I hear primarily from him. I get all my information from him. I don't read the news anymore. My least favourite thing about Christos Reed is the whole package, really. Individually, each bit of Christos makes sense. But as a whole, it's... I mean, can I use the word awful? It's awful. It's really horrible. My favourite Christos Reed moment. There was this brief time when Christos, I can't remember why, didn't contact me for, I think it was 3 to 4 days. And that felt like a golden age. And that temporary lack of contact was so refreshing that it has to be the greatest gift he's ever given me. So I guess his temporary lack of presence was my favourite Christos Reed moment. If you could tell him to do it more often.
Okay.
And also, I think it's nice to have a contrast and all those things that are nice.
That's true. Oh, okay.
Because also that is our relationship, like Christos would find it weird if I was really nice to him. That would be really weird.
Weird or just surprising?
It's just weird. He'd be like the other day I was like, hey, how are you? He was like, what's going on? What do you want? And I was like, just want to check see how you are. Check my body, see if it's okay. And he's like, no, stop this. this is weird. Because that is our relationship is one of constant piss takery. And it has to continue like that, Jason. If you want something sincere, you are coming to the wrong person. Sincerity is not something that I do. I do sincerity, but only in brief, like, micro-sincerity. You can ask me questions and I'll answer them. So if you ask a question, I'll repeat it back to your answer. So it's up to you.
My favourite thing about Christos is the fact that he is a fucking good person. And he makes the people around him want to be good people. Like, he's probably the best moral compass I know. He's just a good friend. Like, if he's having a bad day, it doesn't matter like what's going on with him. He'll drop everything and help you as much as he can. I don't know anybody else that would do that. I have nothing else to say about him because he's an asshole.
So, my favourite thing about Christos. I need some air to think about this. He brought me Reese's cakes once. That's probably it. Yeah.
This isn't quite how I planned to be doing this. I, in fact, said I would do it in a totally different way, which I didn't get to do because I'm a total shitebag. One of the ways in which Christos has affected my life is it's a bit hard to explain, but basically, me living where I want to live down here in the south and living with the people I want to live with, of which she's one of them, Cesaria. She has no idea who you are, doesn't care. Do you? Christos certainly had a hand in making that a reality because, again, won't go into much detail, but, you know, brains don't work sometimes. And Christos sort of helped my brain work a little bit, or certainly enough to get me to sort some things out. And I sorted those things out, and now I'm in a... What are you doing? Now I'm in a place that I want to be in, and Christos certainly helped that happen. So thank you very much, Christos, for existing and for being there for me when I needed you. I mean, you're a bit of a tosser, but I don't think it's your fault. I certainly don't hold it against you.